Welcome to Hollerween 2020, people. I'm Christopher Landauer of the Rocky Mountain Savages and the Con crew for this event. And joining me on screen right now is Chris Fox.
Hello. Yes, with my cool shirt on that nobody can see.
Right. And Tim Early, who is the author of Holler. Say hello, Tim.
Hi, everyone.
So we just want to welcome you to the first official online Pinnacle convention, Hollerween, where we're celebrating all things Savage Worlds. We've got almost 70 events on tap.
Yes, so I have to fix it. And I can't hear anything, of course.
Joining us also is our new studio setup. There's Chelsea doing the new studio gig. And so we got a whole gaming table from Carolina Game Table set up for you guys to run this and future events. But this weekend we've got over 70 events, almost 80 events. We've got almost a dozen panels. We've got a bunch of games, and we appreciate you guys joining us in this new era of COVID, where meeting face to face is tough. So let's see. It's called Hollerween because one of Pinnacle's brand new settings is called Holler. An Appalachian apocalypse. And since Tim is the author of that, I will turn it over to him for a few minutes to give you a preview of what Holler is and what you guys can expect. What Holler is.
Thanks, Chris. Just touching my microphone gently on my iPad. It's on now, I think. Can you hear me okay?
We're good.
Beautiful. Holler is a folk horror dark fantasy setting for Savage Worlds. It's set in Appalachia. I would say it's set in one of the most sort of gothic versions of Appalachia you could imagine. It revolves heavily around the labor conflict. That's part of that region's history. The coal operators versus the workers, textile mill operators versus the workers. It draws a lot on Appalachian folklore, Appalachian culture, stories, murder ballads, things like that. It deals with environmental collapse in the region, but it's an imaginary Appalachia. It sort of pulls from all these different cultural sources to create sort of a new world that's maybe Appalachian adjacent, allows you to go in and inhabit that iconic world. Like some of the characters are moonshiners and miners, granny women, mountain men, right, and play around in that in a dystopic version of Appalachia.
And so this is your first public RPG setting, but you are not a freshman to writing. Tell us about your career and what you do besides writing RPG events.
Well, for 25 years, I've been a professor of English and creative writing. I currently teach at the University of Mississippi. There I teach Southern literature, Appalachian literature, blues literature, fantasy literature, and then early British lit stuff, so cool stuff like Beowulf, Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, some Shakespeare, some Milton. And I've written poetry for many years as well. I've published 5 books of poems, and a lot of that deals with where I'm from. I'm from Western North Carolina. Originally, I grew up in the foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains, and I've been obsessed with Appalachian dialect, culture, folklore for as long as I can remember. So I'm trying to bring all of that sort of experience to the game and to the setting.
Excellent. And Shane, why don't you give us a little bit, what is it about Holler that brought it to your attention and decided to snap it up as a Pinnacle product?
First off, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, somebody has got a lot of feedback going on. We're picking up your speakers, I think, on your mic. Because I hear me after I speak. Okay, so what attracted me to Holler? First off, thanks everybody for showing up. I can't believe how awesome all this is. I was just showing my family all the games that the SWO crew has managed to get going, and all of the fantastic GMs and players. I'm just blown away. This was a big experiment for us, and the guys have been doing it 3 previous cons now, I think. Was it, Chris?
Yeah, about that 3 or 5, somewhere in there. It's been
yeah. So Chris, Dustin, and now Chelsea. I'm just blown away by what you all have done. I'm so happy. as for Tim, well, you heard his introduction. You know, we just wanted somebody to class up the place a little bit. I was born and raised in Ohio, in southern Ohio, and then moved to Clintwood, Virginia when I was 10, lived there till 17, and then went to school in Blacksburg, Virginia. So I'm from Appalachia. I understand the area. There are parts of it I love and parts of it I don't love, right? And I think one of the things I love about Holler is Tim embraces all of that. The good is good. The good is good. The bad is dark and creepy. And he especially took some of the stuff that happened in the 30s and 40s, like the Matewan Massacre and some of that, the folklore and songs and mythology that grew up around that, and incorporated it into the setting in a way that I thought was just, it's both literary, beautiful, and most importantly for what we do, it's exciting and has that pulpy action feel on top of all that lets you have something you can actually play and enjoy. And we pride ourselves on being able to handle any genre and do anything. We've got supers games, we've got kaiju games that we just released, and now you can have everything down to the very basic level of what the Holler characters have. One of the issues we've had in the art, for example, is just how poor the characters are. They don't have a lot of gear and equipment and so forth to make them interesting. So we've had some really neat ideas about how we're going to resolve that. And all of it comes from this incredible setting Tim has put together, and we're lucky enough to get to publish it for him.
Yeah, that's just fantastic. So this is our inaugural effort going online. A lot of us are getting up to speed on how to run an online convention and how to do this. So I want to give everybody who's here a little tutorial on what we can do on how to interact with us this weekend. And so let me show you guys where you can find the information you need and what we're doing. So hopefully you guys can see this, and we'll load it up here. There we go. Okay, so this Tabletop Events is our main software site for signing up to play games. So on Tabletop Events, you can see the link there. It's Tabletop Events, Convention, Savage Worlds official event, Hollerween. But you can go to tabletop.events, search for Hollerween. But it's on the front page right there. You can click on it. And first link is how to play games. If you guys, we still have some seats available. We've got an amazing amount of participation, but there are a few seats available. So if you click on how to play games, it'll take you through how to get your badge. Use discount code FREE when you pick up your badge so you don't get charged for that. And it'll show you how to get into the events that still have seats. If an event is full, you can still sign up on a wait list. And when that game runs, you can meet in the lobby of our Discord, and we'll pull you guys into those events based upon who's on the wait list. And so there's still a chance to get into games, even if they're full. This is an interactive panel. We've got a number of these over the weekend. And so the second link is how to interact with these. So as you can see, anybody who attends these on Crowdcast, we can pull you up on stage to ask your questions if you want to be on camera. If not, you can just submit them on text. And that page shows you how to get onto Crowdcast. It's crowdcast.io/e for event/Hollerween. That takes you to all the events we're going to be running over the weekend, and tells you how to participate in that. If you just want to watch and you don't need to participate actively, there's a number of outlets for streamed events. So the Crowdcast, you can just watch on Crowdcast. We've got a YouTube channel. It's YouTube/Peg Inc. The link is on the page. We're also on Twitch, live streaming. What we're going to do is all of our panels are going to be live streamed. And then while we're playing games between panels, we'll be popping into various games and highlighting some games in progress that you can watch during the weekend. That'll be on Twitch. And then on the official Savage Worlds Facebook group, a link is also on that page. Anytime we're live and streaming, there will be a link that pops up there that you can watch on Facebook as well. And then all of these show the preview links for the different panels we're doing. And so they're already pre-queued up, so you can get reminders for when those go live. And then We've got a number of partners who are also helping us out over the weekend. First, last night, we met with the crew from Check for Traps RPG. They do a podcast and a live stream, and we talked with them about how to run online games and how to stream. So we got some really good information from them. You guys can check out that. It's archived on YouTube and on Twitch still. And you can check out their channel at CFT RPG on Twitch. Later on tonight, immediately following this panel goes until 7 p.m. Mountain, and all the times on the website are Mountain. We have a really awesome new event, which is the guys from Zombie Orpheus Entertainment. You might recognize them from The Gamers and The Dorkness Rising. They are going to do a live broadcast of a Savage Rifts actual play called Golden Guns. And we'll put up our link in our Crowdcast. They're going to host it on their own Crowdcast for 2 hours, starting at 7. And then at 9 p.m., we'll be back on our Crowdcast, sitting around the campfire doing ghost stories. And Tim is going to give us a preview here in a few minutes of what that's going to be about. But if you've got a good ghost story, anything Halloween appropriate, you can come on stage and we'll let you share it with the group while we sit around and just get some communal bonding time that we've all missed so much given all the social distancing. Let's see, we've got another PEG panel tomorrow. And so that'll be where you can come in, ask the PEG crew. Hopefully Jody will get power back. Poor gal lost some power because of the hurricane. And ask them all the questions about their next Kickstarters, what products are coming, all those wonderful things will be on the PEG panel. And then immediately following that, the folks at the Wild Die podcast, Gary McCallum, Eric Lamoureux, and Carl Kiesler, they'll be doing an interview with John Goff. And so we'll be hosting that on our Twitch. And we'll be rating their Twitch channel as well for the Wild Die as they publish on Twitch. And on Sunday, we'll do a wrap-up show and kind of hand things off, talking about where we're going to be next. And our next destination after Hollerween is in the middle of next month for Con Off the Cob. That's the online version of Andy Hopp's famous Con on the Cob. And then we also have some partners who have just signed up. The lovely folks at Saving Throw are going to be giving away a bunch of coupons throughout this week. And so are we during all these events as a little trick-or-treat thank yous for joining us. And also on the DAT Network, the Department of Mysteries show will be doing the same. So check out those streams as well, guys. And that's kind of where to find us this weekend. And let's see. Tim, you want to give us a little preview of what we might expect tonight during our ghost stories, horror stories hangout?
Definitely. How's my mic sound? I hop back on with another machine.
Oh, it's looking good. I can hear you. Everybody else doing good?
Okay. Yeah, so this is a preview of horror stories tonight. This is a little story set in the Holler. It's based on a legend from my hometown, probably the most famous legend from my hometown, the legend of Daniel Keith. And I've embellished it a little bit, hollerized it a little bit, as I like to say. It takes me about 7 minutes to tell it, but here it goes. This happened in the Holler one time. There was a man named Daniel Keith, a big old fella, about 6'3", 250 pounds, pure muscle, bright red hair, long red beard. Lived in the Hogback Hills. Folks didn't like him for lots of reasons. One time he got this 70-pound rock and burnished it with brass, made folks believe it was gold. He sold little chunks of that rock to half the men in the valley, made pure fools of them when they towed it up to the company store trying to trade with it. He was a big talker too. Told folks he killed a black bear with a slingshot. Said he swam to the bottom of the bottomless pools and conversed with a giant catfish down there. Said the fish told him all the secrets of the universe, but he weren't going to share those secrets with anybody. Said he saw a Yahoo. That's what some folks call a Bigfoot, lumbering up through the woods, and that Yahoo threw his hand up at him. And that Yahoo came down to greet him, and they sat down and shared some jerky and whiskey. Said that Yahoo was just as sweet a creature as you'd ever meet. Said that Yahoo gave him a hat, this beat-up old fedora Daniel was always a-wearing, and that's why it smelled kind of funny. Some folks didn't like Daniel's big mouth and his big stories. What they really didn't like, men anyway, is that he was quite a charmer with the women folk.
He swindled plenty of men out of money during the daylight hours and had moonlit rendezvous with their wives come evening time. Daniel Keith was having fun, but spelling some trouble for himself later on. The lawman in them parts, Finster Goad, was a bad apple. He had a bad temper, lorded it over folks, lorded it over his own family too. His wife, Lila, got tired of his meanness and took to witching a little bit on the side. Nothing serious. She wasn't consorting with demons or plucking out children's eyes and throwing them into a vat or anything like that. She'd just make a little concoction. Eye of newt, toe of frog, wool of bat, tongue of dog, assorted goat parts, regular stuff, and slip it into Finster's meals to take some of the meanness out of him. Well, Finster didn't believe in no kind of witching. He was a straight arrow, a law and order type, or so he liked to think. One day he found one of Lila's poultices and confronted her. Terrible argument broke out. They'd had so many terrible arguments. This one was different, though. Finster was full of rage. They commenced a scuffling. Lila fell and hit her head on their black iron stove, blood everywhere, killed her on the spot. Finster was in a fix. It wasn't due for the lawman of the valley to be found out to have killed his wife, accident or not, and who was to tell a thing like that? He knew a fella he could pin it on pretty easy, though, and most folks, men especially, would believe that story without much prompting. Finster called up his deputies and they headed out. Finster acting all teared up like he was convinced that his last wish, the big-shouldered, red-headed, eye-flirting, storytelling Daniel Keith, had killed his wife. They rode out to Daniel's hovel up on the ridge. They got there and called Daniel out, and a piece of luck fell on Finster's head. It'd be about the last one, though. Daniel had blood all over his shirt. Finster's men seized him. He took a few. Daniel claimed he'd been skinning rabbits, and even though their carcasses were plainly visible, thrown out in the yard, Finster's men wouldn't hear it. They hauled him to the jailhouse. Finster wasn't about to mess around with the trial. The very next day, in front of one of the most joyous crowds you'd ever see, Daniel Keith was took up to Hanging Hill. The menfolk were joyous anyway, shooting off guns and flatfoot dancing and swilling whiskey. Before he was hanged, Daniel Keith said, "The soul of an innocent man won't ever rest until he can prove himself innocent. A man should be executed for what he's done, not for what he ain't done." Well, that didn't change anybody's mind. They did the deed. A funny thing happened after that. The shadow of a hanged man showed up on the side of the courthouse wall. You could see the outline day or night. Some say if you squint real good, you could see that shadow sway in the breeze. Maybe that shadow was waiting up on the courthouse wall for the trial it never had. Well, this got all up under lawman Finster's skin. Day after day, he'd eye Daniel's shadow looming there. He hired some boys to paint over that wall. They did. The shadow was gone for a day, but it came right back. He hired those boys again. They painted the wall. The shadow went away. A day or so, that shadow came right back. Finster's mind started to go a little sideways. He started plotting about how a man could burn down the courthouse without getting caught. He started dreaming of setting that fire every night and watching the flames eat that old shadow up. He started laying aside gasoline. The whole kitchen was filled with cans. The house reeked of its noxious vapors. He just needed to pick the right time to do it. There were two things that old lawman Finster Goad did not know. First off, there's never just one witch. A witch is always part of a coven, and usually that number is 13. See, Lila was being trained in the ways of a coven that tended the forests of the Ghost Ridge Mountains. They were down a reach, and Lila was going to be their new 13th. If Finster hadn't killed her, she would have simply walked away one evening to join her sisters in the dark. Those witches weren't too happy about what Finster had done. First full moon after Lila's death, they came down from the hills, tromping along in their moth-eaten shrouds and shrieking something horrible. They came to Lila's grave, stripped down naked, and went to dancing and a chanting and a making gestures in the air only demons or old Scratch himself could make out. It didn't take too long. Lila rose right out of that grave. Her skin just as white and as pretty as you please, except for her veins wriggling right beneath like night crawlers, except for her eyes white on white and a neck that could spin her head around right near like an owl's. Second thing Fenster didn't know, Lila was one of the many women that old Daniel had seduced, and they had way more than one stolen tryst together. Fenster never suspected. But there was an old cuckoo bird that come outside his window and sing of a morning, and Lila always seemed to be in a better mood after that old cuckoo visited, and Fenster thought that was right strange. Against the glow of the harvest moon, Lila, the risen witch, began striding across town toward Daniel's shadow on the wall, for to call down her lover, for to wreak vengeance upon the man who had killed them both. Lila, in her stricken tongue, like she was talking twisted through the other side of a dream, called up to Daniel. Hey there, shadow on the wall. Lord, you so good looking and tall. You don't need to be swinging in that old breeze. Climb on down and kiss me, pretty please. That shadow stepped right off the wall and floated down to her. She took its wispy dark hand into her cold grave grip, and they sauntered off toward Fenster's house, solemn as two fell spirits could be, in love, or whatever passes for love on the other side of death's door. Fenster was curled up in bed, looking pitiful and small, a little piece of kindling for the hallowed fires that were about to consume him. Lila and Daniel entered the kitchen. Lila took her sallow foot, kicked over a can of gasoline. That shadow didn't need no match. Daniel waved his hand. A flame roiled forth, and the cabin shot up in a flash. You could see Daniel's bushy red hair and beard again, his face almost human for a moment. An old peddler walking by would tell you it looked like Fenster's house exploded, like a bad man's heart bursting from all the meanness it was holding inside. That peddler would swear he heard a voice rise out of the flames, telling a thing that sounded half true. A man should be executed for what he's done, not for what he ain't done. If I'm lying, I'm dying, as Jerry Clower, the great Southern comedian, used to say.
Wonderful, sir. Wonderful. Let me unmute everybody else. So now that you guys have seen a little bit of taste of who Tim is and kind of what gravitas and ethos he's going to bring to Holler, we were hoping you guys are excited for it. If you want more right away, we've got a actual play video already posted. It's a 2-hour video that is on our YouTube, and it's called the Baden Mountain Tunnel. And we're Tim Game Mastered. We had a cast of wonderful players. Shane was even in there as a moonshiner. And
there'll be a replay of that tomorrow.
Yes. So that'll be coming up. So some of you guys, we're going to be doing a live stream replay tomorrow at morning, Chelsea? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, let's do around 11 a.m.
Yeah, it's
okay.
11 a.m.
11 a.m. You guys can check that out live on the stream. And let's see. So now that we got more people in here, again, I'm Christopher Landauer, and we're part of the con crew. And it's kind of a new initiative that we're working with PEG to help bring the greatness of Savage Worlds to more online conventions, and then hopefully when we get back to meeting face-to-face, physical conventions as well. You might know us from the Genghis Khan Attack Con. Chris Fox started the Rocky Mountain Savages, over a decade ago?
Yep.
Yeah, so we celebrated
okay. So as soon as you said that, Chris, all I could think of was the guy from The Simpsons. You might know me from...
Yeah, unfortunately, that was Phil Hartman.
Yes.
Oh.
That's a story in itself. Oh.
It is. And so we're staples on the live con scene. This year we got off the Savage Cruise, where we hit up 4 different countries in a week. It
was amazing.
And we're planning on. We had to postpone Deadwood. Deadwood was going to be the big a sequel to the Savage Cruise, where we're going to all go up to Deadwood, South Dakota, and game in the place where Wild Bill Hickok was killed and Calamity Jane carried on her antics. And we're going to do it still. Just got to. I was
going to say it's still going to happen. We just got to get through this whole virus.
And so, this online initiative is part of our still being able to connect with you and keep the Savage Worlds love going, even though we can't do it as much in person. And so once again, for all the newcomers, Tabletop Events is our organizing site. And there are a bunch of links on the front page that you can find how to engage, get into games, watch the streams. But one more thing I wanted to show you guys now that you're here is how to use our Discord. So Discord is what we're using for our video and audio. And let me pop this up so you can get a little better view of it. I got a link right now in the chat, but the link is everywhere. It's on the Tabletop Events, and it's on most of the game listings. If you sign up for a game on Tabletop Events, within the game, it'll say what table you're at, which is your game master's name. That link, you can click on it, and it'll take you to the channel. So once you get to the Discord channel, it'll stick you in the Agree to the Rules channel, and you'll see our not too extensive list of, this is a futon-free food, artificial ingredients, and when you're done reading the rules, and they're basically be good people, and we trust you, and you've always kept the faith with us and been the best fan community in the world, especially in gaming. So let's keep that going. But if you agree to the rules, Game Masters, you get to click the Joker emoji, and that'll give you the Game Master designation, and players, the Wild Die emoji, and that'll let you into the rest of the channel. If you have any other issues, click us in the I Need Help Please channel, and just ping there, and we can get your issues taken care of. The Peg Promotes channel, Jody, when she gets internet back and joins us in this century, is going to, throughout the weekend, be posting Pinnacle promotions in that channel, highlighting some cool stuff for offer, and hopefully that matches kind of what the games that are going on that day. And so the one for today is already up in there and looking good. And then lobbies where you guys can hang out, and the streaming will get posted there, and just general chat is good. The announcements, basically anything we need you guys to see will be in announcements. YouTube news and Facebook news are just for like the videos. And we're going to do a costume contest on Halloween itself. So if you, your kids, your animals are dressed up, snap a picture of that and post it in the characters and costumes thread, and the picture with the most emoji reacts will win a prize. And other than that, once you're in a game, your game master name, which is listed on the event, will be the room you're going to be hanging out in. So like right now, Alan Rowe's got a game going on, and you can see GM Alan Rowe is the name of his category. Chats and files, you can see where he's posted, characters and the links to what virtual tabletop software he's using. And then below that will be the video and audio chat room. And that's where you guys can do what we're doing here, share your audio and your video. And so there's a whole list of all the game masters from Andy Hopp, Brian McKay, Brian Reeves, all the way down to schmucks like Landauer and the rest of us. So that's where your games are going to be. Head there to find your games and your videos. So hopefully that's enough where we're going to be and how to play for you guys. And we appreciate you guys joining us. And we've got a bunch of our game masters in the room. So, let's turn it over to Dustin and Chelsea and have them show off the new studio that we guys got to kind of facilitate what's going on here. So, take it away, you two.
Hi.
Hello. So you have just a little bit of a taste of what we're going to be doing from the studio. We're going to be bouncing around to different streams, different games, and just having a good time. This is going to be kind of a main events of a normal con where we'll facilitate things. So we look forward to the whole Savage Worlds family being here with us this weekend and having a good time. And we'll have Chelsea on a couple other camera angles doing some other fun stuff with you. So we will try not to interrupt the flow of the games. We're just going to facilitate the enjoyment of the weekend.
And then if I'm streaming anything on Twitch, I'm kind of streaming a bunch of random games that we pre-selected earlier on. So GMs, players, I will let you know that we're streaming live on Twitch, just so that you guys know ahead of time. You don't have to have your cameras on. You can just leave your mics on. If you're most comfortable with that, totally fine. That'll go out to the community just so other people can see games that maybe they weren't able to get into or were waitlisted for. So at least they're still able to enjoy some content without being able to play in that game. There's better ways to phrase that. I'm tired. But yeah, set up the beautiful studio, all the beautiful lighting. You'll see way more from us here throughout the weekend as we go. Like we said, tomorrow we'll have the Holler game going on early. At 2 o'clock, we've got the Secret Files of Section D. We're going to do the Wonka game at 8, and Shane is in that, so that should be a riot for Friday. Saturday is probably our busiest day. There's going to be a lot going on. I might be switching through games. So on Saturday, if there are any particular games you guys want to see, just let me know. I'm Arkin Lupin in the Discord. You can message me directly, or you can just tag me in your game and be like, this is really fun. You guys should get in here. Totally fine. Happy to do that. So, yay.
Yeah, we've got quite a few different co-admins in there. If you see myself as Rocky Mountain Games or Saxman, feel free to reach out to us, and we'll be in the lobby too, hanging out.
Let's see. Any other good stuff? Any questions from the audience? Now we got a bunch of you in here. Any questions for us as we go along on this Halloween weekend?
I'm just checking the Twitch. I don't see any questions on Twitch. I see a comment that said, Tim's setting is so great. Love the story and love the songs from the other play video.
Yeah, the dude can sing too. It's kind of unfair. Not only is a poet, but he's also got a pretty decent singing voice. Oh, hey, look, Carl Kiesler just joined us.
I'm saying there's a Carl Kiesler sighting.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Carl, give us you guys are going to do a panel tomorrow. Tell us who are you interviewing, and then you're also running a game. So tell us about it.
Right. On the Wild Eye podcast, we got Wild Eye Harder, which is our streaming that we just started, and we're interviewing John Goff. So we're going to talk about some Deadlands and see what's going on with him. Should be fun. And I'm running 2 games. It's one game, but 2 sessions. Unfortunately, I think they might be sold out. I'm not sure. It is Monster Hunters Club, which is you play kids from the 80s fighting monsters, kind of like Stranger Things, Monster Squad, Goonies type thing. So, yeah, it should be a lot of fun.
Most excellent. And we were lucky enough, you got to join us on the Savage Cruise this year. How was that experience? It
was awesome, man. Oh my gosh, so much fun. Not only do you get to game all day, but then when you're in port, you can go do excursions like we swam with stingrays and did all kinds of crazy stuff, man. You could go to the beaches and just hang out if you want to, and whatever port of call you're at. So,
and you were lucky enough to see a dead body, right?
Oh, God. I totally forgot about that. Yeah.
He tried to blink it out of his mind.
Yeah, thanks for that memory.
Okay, you have to explain that story because I have no context except you saw a dead body. What?
I forget where we were. I think
Jamaica.
That's
Kingston.
Right. We were coming back, and the roads are really tight down there. They're like almost like single lane roads, and we were coming back from this tubing experience, which was awesome. And we were stuck in traffic, and we were wondering what the heck's going on. And finally, we came up to it. And down there, apparently, they don't cover up the bodies if there's an accident. And there was some guy just like a few feet away from us in the road that unfortunately didn't make it. So pretty bad thing that happened. I feel bad for him, but
just this week, Shane did say that it's not really an adventure if there's no chance of death. I mean, he was talking about rolling dice.
Yeah.
But, we are calling them expeditions now because there is an element of danger. And,
it is called Savage Worlds.
Yeah.
Right. It's not worlds of cupcakes and handshakes and friends. It's savage out there.
Right.
Well, and like some of the people, we got some really cool feedback. Let's see how do we go to group? We're learning all this technology. There we go. There's all of us. Nice. Now you can't see my complexion. It's good. We've had some great. I mean, you guys have been so awesome. Part of the feedback after the cruise was just on crazy things that we can do with the Savage Worlds community. And one idea was to go rent a castle in Spain, a medieval castle. And so that is on the, like, can we do this? Can we figure this out? Can we really get there?
So I got to tell you, I did something like that once. Our French translators, Black Book Editions, they had kind of a, I guess they're fans that paid for an elite level of some particular project they did, got to come play in a castle near Lyon. And myself, the Shadowrun guys, some Paizo guys, Tim Brown, who wrote Dark Sun and was doing Dragon Kings at the time, we all ran games there. And it was an amazing experience. It's right up there with the cruise. I mean, it was super cool. I've got a story about that too, but I'll save that for later.
Oh, you're gonna say
Ask if it was haunted. It's a castle.
Just by me.
Speaking of dead bodies, like, is this a story that involves lots of blood?
It does involve blood.
Nice.
You've heard it.
You could tell it tonight, maybe. It's fantastic. But so the next event coming up in about 20 minutes is going to be that Zombie Orpheus Entertainment Rifts thing, and then we'll be back here 2 hours after that for the sit around and tell ghost stories thing. So you're welcome to bring your adult beverage and queue up some good ghost stories. Let's see, any other good stuff from the weekend?
So let me ask a question as one of the least technical people here. So we have stuff on YouTube that's live. We also have stuff on Twitch and Discord. If I'm an average fan and I want to see what's going on, where should I focus my attentions?
Definitely go to Twitch. We're working on building that channel and also answering any comments, any questions about the game stuff. It's all going to be on Twitch mostly.
Great.
If you just want to watch and just kind of leave it in the background, I like to listen to games and do my laundry or wash my dishes. You can do that on YouTube or Facebook. It should stream there generally for panels, but all of the games specifically are going to be on Twitch.
Great.
And this is why we brought Chelsea aboard. She's not only a class act, but she knows her streaming stuff. And,
she does.
Yeah.
We got invited by the ReaperCon folks, and it was supposed to be a little panel. And we destroyed their Twitch server and their Discord because so many of you guys showed up to crash the event. So one idea we're floating, and give us some feedback on this, is maybe, if this goes well, maybe doing a once a month PEG panel where Peg will come on to this and we'll give you guys some monthly updates and you guys can interact. So if you like that idea and this is a cool format, give us your feedback. So that's something that's might happen if you guys give us the right feedback, and it looks like it's something the community values. So all of this is a work in progress, so bear with us if there's any technical difficulties. We've in the last month we decided to do this. We've all suddenly become streamers, and I have a Halo light now, like all of the makeup vloggers on YouTube, and I feel like I got to work on my nail and makeup game because I now have a ring light.
Oil your beard, okay?
Just braid it. Just braid it. Yeah.
Oh, I cut about 3 or 4 inches off of it because I got the feedback of you want to look distinguished, not like a vagabond. And I don't know if I can
it's working for Jack Dorsey.
I mean, look at Tim's beard. It's glorious.
It is glorious.
It's shiny, it's curly, it's stunning.
When you see this in person, so I've been lucky. I will take some credit for trying to be like a matchmaker between Tim and Shane. I was lucky enough that Tim moved to Denver, and he put on a Sunday game where we kind of got a first look at Holler, and I played in that for several months. And we had the beard off, and Tim won every time. So
hands down.
I know my place.
No
as long as you know your place.
Oh, he does. We keep him there. We also have this wonderful Carolina game table that I would love to get some live plays going quite often. And that's one reason why we did the studio here, is to keep the play going and enjoy each other's company. Even if we can't be together, we can still enjoy each other's company.
Yeah, and we're kind of sad. We had so many big plans this year. This was kind of the year that we were going to make a big push. Last year, Dustin and I and Fox kind of made a big push to go to a bunch of the big conventions. We went to Gen Con, we went to Dragon Con. Dustin hit up all the trade shows. And then COVID happened. And, it just felt like, we don't want to lose the momentum. And so we're keeping it going digitally. And then hopefully this next year, we'll start to get back opening and have big events again. But it's clear as day that the community needs some, personal interaction. I mean, just today alone, I've got 14 phone calls from people just being like, I'm so happy you're doing something. Thank you so much. And I'm like, I'm going on live in 5 minutes. I got to let you go. But, all of us are pasty white. We haven't seen the sun. And, and then poor Chris Fox. Let's see if we can get him back in here because we had another room. So we've all been sequestering. We trying to get the studio set up. And then just 2 days ago, poor Chris is now on full-on sequester because he got the COVID. And he's runerific.
The COVID.
Right, but he's still alive and doing well.
I did. Officially got the COVID. I'm up there with all the cool kids. So.
Did they start you on any of the new drugs, Chris?
No. Just basically called me, said, you tested positive, you got 10 days of quarantine. And so I was really hoping I was going to get off work for 10 days, and I got a hold of my work, and my workstation's in the basement. They're like, well, as long as you're feeling okay, just keep working. I'm like, damn it.
So I tell you what, I took one of those tests, and I have a super sensitive nose. And if it had been pain, I would have been just fine. But it tickles, so all I can do is sneeze and cry. It's just awful.
And I was lucky because the place I went, when the guy came in, he's like, well... He said, we're out of the nasal swab, so we're going to have to do a throat swab just for, strep. And I was like, yes!
No.
And I had every intention. I mean, in my mind, I was pretty sure that I was going to be negative. Because I was with a small group of people, and we were gaming.
Well, you're such a positive person, so... Yeah,
and everybody else in the group, except for the one guy who tested positive, everybody else but me tested negative. So I was the one of two lucky people.
It's always the one, right? It's always the one. I mean, one of my best friends, completely sequestered, completely cut off, was sanitizing everything. She got it from a Postmates guy. She missed one little piece of the bag.
Yeah. And the funny thing is the one who got it, he was sitting away from me, probably 8 feet away from me, and he wore a mask the entire time he was there. Mm. And I was like, well... We'll see what's going on. So really, I mean, the big thing for me is just, I guess, COVID fatigue. I'm actually a little tired tonight, but I'm going to push through. I'm going to run my games.
I think we're all tired of COVID.
We're gonna have a fun time.
And speaking of which, Chris, you mentioned that everybody was really looking for that social activity again, right? And I'll tell you what, one of the things that gets me excited every year when I go to convention, and especially the ones where the Rocky Mountain Savages run the games, I come away so inspired and excited, not only because I've made such good friends there, but because just listen to just page one of the events that are happening at this show. Rippers, Big Trouble in Little Kowloon, Curse of the Undeaf, The Secret Files of Section D, Tales from the Crypt, Last Parsec, Unexpected Colony, Scooby-Doo and the Ghost of Vault 74, Outlaw Girls and Cannibal Elves, The Curse of the Snake God, The Secret Files of Section D again, The Magic Men, Ripper's Unnatural History. Let me do one more page. Worm Food, Return to Wrath Downs, Silence of Hollerween, No Tricks, No Illusions, Low Life, The Bull Noggin Branch, Crystal Heart, Quick Take, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, 1980s, Witch Hunt, Trinity's Mustang, which I've played, very good, Winter's A-Comin' for Holler. So many games, so many different ideas. There's Thundar the Barbarian, which, shoot, look here. Right? And the game I've been dying to play since I first saw it run at Genghis or Tacticon years ago, Mark Gacy's Savage Willy Wonka, a post-apocalyptic nightmare, which I'm so excited about. So I'm just, for me, the guy who just wanted to make a set of rules that I could play lots of different things, to see that come alive and to see people do so much with it and do it so well, it's a dream. And if you've ever played in like a Neil Hyde game or a Carl Kiesler game or Tim's game,
notice whose game he's not mentioning.
Yeah, well, we won't talk about that.
He didn't mention the two Chris's.
I haven't played in one of yours, Fox.
It's shady in here.
Chris Landauer ran a game where crocodiles went awry, but we won't talk about that publicly.
That's a horror story for later tonight, right?
It's like 4 years and it's still a sore point between us. It's very sad.
It is.
Although that
you
is
ran a
why-
good game on the cruise. That was a fun game.
Well, we put the gator on the cruise banner.
Yeah, I noticed.
Actually, no, that was for Carl because Carl's the gator from Florida and Shane's the shark dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, but,
Well,
you know.
I'll finish the thought. What's great is, for whatever reason, and I'll take no credit for this, the community that's come around this, and it could be any game, right? We could be playing any system, but the community that is built up for whatever reason is fantastic, and they're family to me now. I know these people all across the world. We've stayed in touch for over a decade because of the games we've played together, and I know that happens in a lot of communities, but ours seems a little closer than others I've been involved with, and it's fantastic. I love it. So thanks.
Yeah, hey,
you guys played a large part of that.
Awesome.
We appreciate Shane. And we lost one of our family members this week who wrote for us, and
We did.
you guys mean something to us, and that's kind of why we wanted to get out there and see you guys again, is because it's we miss that, and yeah, that's a somber moment.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll lighten it up a little bit. We've got Chelsea here. She does all kinds of fun things with swords, plays lots of role-playing games, but she is doing her first Savage Worlds game this weekend. So
that's
encourage
awesome.
Folks who
Very cool.
haven't played, folks, have them tune in and see why Savage Worlds is Fast Furious fun, because she's going to be broadcasting that game live from the player perspective right here in the studio. So we're going
Terrifying.
to see first reactions of what she thinks when she aces that wild bat.
And what time is that?
That's at 2:00 tomorrow. So that'll be after the Holler watch through. We'll do that game, and then there's the Wonka game. So those are the 3 games for tomorrow. I'm really excited. Actually, coming into this community blind, I thought we're going to be doing this live event. I'm going to have to moderate so much. There's going to be so much to do. No. Y'all have made this so easy for me, and I'm so grateful.
I've
That's
known
awesome.
Chelsea
It is
for more than
so
a decade,
fun.
and she had to be part of this family.
Oh my gosh, so easy. Coming from the podcast world where you're having to watch every comment and moderate and make sure, this community was already built as a strong, sweet community. I'm seeing players in the Discord going, I don't have any games. What do I do? And they're like, come here. I got you. We'll do this game. I'll teach you how to play. I'll teach you here. Here's your tech problem. I'll fix that. No problem. Stepping into games and GMs are already helping players. That is so sweet in a world that is not so good right now. So thank you for that refresher. That's like the reset button. So I love it. Remember to take care of yourselves too. Remember to drink your water. Remember to eat good food. I am trying not to eat 15 pounds of candy this weekend and actually eat food. So
Yeah, normal con rules apply to take
Normal
care of
con
yourself,
rules apply.
because this is going to feel like a con, people.
Although the best part about the virtual con is the one person who forgets the hygiene rule. You can't smell them from here. But we kind of take it for granted because we have been putting on these big Savage Worlds events for so long. But there are thousands of you who we haven't met yet, and you guys haven't met us. So do reach out to us. SavageWorldsOnline@gmail.com is the email we're using for this event and kind of all of our organizational events. And introduce yourselves and get to know us. We're going to be on the Discord. Pop in and say hello, private message us. We do have special needs players, and we have a lot of players that we haven't met before. So if you have any concerns, anything that you guys need us to know about you, shoot us an email or shoot us a message, and we'll accommodate you guys as best as possible. It kind of goes without saying because you guys have been so good in the past, but we don't even require you to run Savage Worlds at these events. So, but if you do want to use something like safety tools, it's up to your game master. Just bring it up beforehand with your players and your game masters. It's always good to just communicate before games. We rarely have problems, but we're not going to pre-police. One, it's a little impractical, but 2, you guys have always been really good about this. But bring anything to our attention, and we'll try to squash it. But do realize we're remote. There's a lot of stuff we can't do that we normally do, and tools we don't have because when you're face to face. But you've been great so far, and just bear with us if we have any technical issues. There's a whole lot of streaming going on. We all upgraded our internet plans to fiber so we can do all this streaming, and So
So went out half an hour beforehand.
Yeah,
It was
we had
the
a
first
glitch
issue.
half an hour before, but we
But
made it through.
hopefully that means it won't happen for the rest of the weekend. Knock on wood, it'll be fine.
Oh yeah, well, and Dustin and I were in a parking lot at 3 this morning.
3 this morning when I texted you guys.
Doing a little COVID handoff of assets we needed to get to each other, and I was dropping off some stuff for Fox because we haven't been able to get him his shirt and hat. So there's been some stuff going on, people. We're working hard, but
like I said, feels like a god.
right, yeah. But next time you guys can either come to one of our big events or come out to Colorado, or we come to you, whether it's following Carl and his dominance of Gen Con, or wherever it is, do say hello, come up, let us know who you are face to face. We miss you guys. And it has been a pleasure kind of helping in our own little small way build this thing that Shane started decades ago and is now, bar none, the coolest gaming community on the planet. And we're excited for where that takes us. So, yay, you guys.
Can I throw out something?
Yes.
So I'd like to throw out some advice for new game masters and new players, and maybe a little bit about tone and how to play. So one of the great things about how the game has matured, and that came from input from tons of different people over the years. I won't take all that credit. And the reason I thought of this is I see Neil Hyde in the chat bar over here, and Neil has run a couple of really great games at Genghis Khan that not only were they just really fun games, but they really helped me solidify a concept I was searching for early on. And I'll mention this and then tell you why it might be important for your games this weekend. So most of the time, the way we run and play Savage Worlds, it's just talking, right? We're talking out, we're doing a mystery, we're solving adventures, you roll some dice. The dice are there kind of to give you extremes in this part of the game, right? So if you critical fail or something goes really well, the game master and the players can key off of that and really run with it. But what's great is, because it was built from originally a miniatures game system, our Great Rail Wars game, there is a crunchy layer beneath it. And I wrote this in the World Builders book that's in the Suede Essentials box set, but it's probably worth reiterating, and I'll try to do it very quickly. We were playing in one of Neil's games, Weird Wars Rome, and all of it was just investigation and trying to solve a mystery, right? There were no miniatures or tactics or anything like that. And we got to a point at the end, and Chris played in this game, in fact.
It also involved lewd sexual things and lizards. So I'm just...
Thanks, Chris. You really made the moment there. We're telling this great story, and we get to a point where we have to make a decision. And in a lot of storytelling games that I've played, I just played some fun ones the other night. They're fun, and I enjoy them, where you just kind of make a story together. But had we negotiated that scene, we would have decided how it went, right? And that'd have been fine, and it'd have been fun. But the way it worked out in Neil's game, we had to decide that chance was real. We had to wind up fighting this big wave of serpent men, and that's when he broke out the miniatures and put it on the map, and that's when our edges and everything that went into our characters to make them really good became important. So that crunchy layer beneath the narrative experience suddenly told this whole different story where we didn't know if we were going to win or we were going to lose. And it turned out half the party died, right? And that was what made a really cool moment and a really cool, tense, exciting finale to that game that I still remember to this day. And it reminded me why it was so important to have, for the most part, a game where we can just talk, roll some dice here and there, and get on with the mystery and the excitement and the adventure. But when the rubber hits the road, there's a system there, and it's fair, right? I mean, not that it's perfect, but it's fair. And you know what you're getting into, and you can make decisions. And decisions, to me, are largely what makes our RPGs interesting. So those of you who are running games this weekend, remember that you don't need to break out the miniatures on Roll20 or Fantasy Grounds or whatever you're using for every scene, right? You can just talk your way through things, let people express themselves, have fun, be silly, and have a great time. And then if it's there and you want to break all that stuff out, it's there for you. Same thing for the players, right? Don't be intimidated by the rules section of Savage Worlds. It's actually only 16 pages, I think, of the rules parts, other than edges and hindrances and stuff like that. Just play your character, have a good time, ham it up for bennies, as I mentioned to Chelsea earlier. When you get really down and low and you're about to die, a lot of people just kind of give up. I don't know what to do. I got no bennies left. That's the time to be funny. That's the time to do something crazy, right? Because that's when a good GM will reward you bennies for it. And bennies give you extra chances to do things or to soak damage or to change the story. So have a good time, play. Don't worry about the rules. The GM will help you when you need them, and they're there when you want them. But for the most part, we care about all those cool titles I just read off, right? Exploring all these savage worlds. That's what it's all about, and what these guys have excelled at for years and years.
So nice. He doesn't mean any of it, but we've got pictures, and so we've been blackmailing him, and that's the only reason we get come with us. But no, remember, like, role playing is just talking with people with more steps. So communicate, be good to each other, and we trust you guys. But I think that's it for our big open. Join us again in 2 hours. We'll be back here with all of you. If any of you want to get on screen and share a ghost story, put on some clothes. And then make sure that your camera's working. You can go to the same website you're on now, crowdcast.io/.
It's only important to have clothes from the waist up, though, right?
You don't have to have pants on as long as you keep sitting down or the
camera here.
Yeah,
I am a theater major. I am a band kid. I have seen it all, but I don't want to get our entire
no Jeffrey
blocked,
Tubin
please.
allowed.
Right. Yeah. Twitch does not look kindly on being an X-rated channel. We're not quite ready to take Savage Worlds in that direction. But yeah, crowdcast.io/setup to make sure your camera's working. And and with that, we're gonna turn it over to the
You can send a message in chat, and then one of us will pop you up on screen. That's going to be the best way to filter things, and we'll learn as we go. So just kind of be patient, because we're all new to this, so we'll get it figured.
Yes, and so we got 2 hours to read the manual, and the next big event is Zombie Orpheus Entertainment's Golden Guns, which is a Rift's actual play. They're launching it for Hollerween. We've posted a link in the comments on the Crowdcast, and Chelsea is taking care of broadcasting it elsewhere. It is also a Crowdcast link for those of you. Crowdcast.io/e for event /HJ5PV7R. They weren't as cool as us to get their own vanity name. But yeah, follow that link, and they're going to be starting up here in about 3 minutes. And then join us again in 2 hours and for the rest of the weekend, guys. So we appreciate you joining us, and have a great Halloween.
Great job, everybody.
In a couple hours.